to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me.
A short-term benefit, no matter how good, if it ultimately sets one up for and dovetails with a long-term destabilization and consolidation vector that disempowers and impoverishes billions, the enemy will construct and raise up this massive, this grand architecture of the actuarying system, the blockchain-based actuarying system, the permanent transaction grid, that will be used to invalidate human existence via the machine state. And what matters is getting to the technical reality of that, so the quote-unquote justification exists. And once that justification exists, whatever forms of dehumanization will be predicated thereupon. I could go through this whole video and point out all the wonderful little jokes that he makes and how deep our bench is and how... I gotta say, I never thought much of Pete Hegseth. I always thought it was just a, Fox News obviously is a Rhino limited hangout operation. I always thought more that Pete was just like any other dipshit, never really paid too much attention to him. But, he had base takes here and there, and you could see that. Obviously, I don't want to bias myself. I'm a fellow Minnesotan. But, man, I really like Pete. He fucking putting an army grunt, front and center. Putting a man of the people army grunt front and center like that. And watching him be able to just deliver the message. Because what you really need in that role is a pitchman who's the face of the military. And sort of a spiritual leader almost. Almost an Audie Murphy with a bugle sort of a person. And Pete is doing an excellent job. I can't believe how good it is. And he really is like president material. I don't really know that much about how hardcore, but I've never seen anything about him that I really didn't fundamentally trust, just in terms of his nature as a person. But I digress. Obviously, everyone is suspect to me. Little Marco is all grown up though, and I just fundamentally don't trust the Peter Thiel puppet. You have a guy who's groomed by the rhinos. Typical Rhino playbook, George Bush, John McCain style, but without the actual frontline combat of any kind. You know what I mean? Like, non-combat. It's like typical CIA cover role for actual insertion is a non-combat officer. But anyway, I digress. Peter Thiel puppet, techno-bro socialist frontman, pitchman. Really just don't trust him. I don't know what it is. I don't trust... How about the fact that his the propaganda documentary about his life was produced by Netflix, the same company that made Cuties, which is literal like softcore child pornography aired, right down the middle. Here you go, Middle America. Watch this. Gee, I don't know. Netflix, ladies and gentlemen, Netflix. You don't think Netflix is like an enemy propaganda shop, and yet that's the propaganda shop used to pitch this conservative Obama in that he is like a manufactured. Anyway, I digress. You know, I know everyone's a huge fan now, I guess, of the Peter Thiel puppet, J.D. Pence. And I want to be wrong, of course, but I have to reiterate, as I said before, here's a guy who is a never Trumper. You know, I'm not going to go pull his CV. Anybody, you know, who's worth their weight can fucking go and pull his CV and check out the rhino pedigree of the upbringing and how he's clearly this cloistered fucking, you know, puppet candidate. I don't understand how, though, you can look at that. Here's a guy who's never Trump right up until the line of Trump 2.0 and towed the rhino line right up until Trump 2.0, and suddenly he's Saul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus. Of course, we're supposed to buy the same conversion story about Subsidy Bro, and there's a lot of overlap there. We're supposed to buy the story that the guy who's married to a Pajit is the one who's going to helm America first moving forward. So a never Trumper married to a woman from India is the heir apparent to Maganomics and to the Trump movement. I don't even know that I fundamentally agree with just that. People say, well, why do you got to make a big deal about him having an Indian wife? And honestly, I guess I don't have to make a big deal about him having an Indian wife. I just think it's suspicious. I think it's fundamentally fucking suspicious. And I'm just throwing it on the table as an additional data point whereby to analyze the pedigree of this individual. You know, I don't want to say that she's his handler or something like that. I honestly don't know. I don't know, right? Of course. I'm just speculating. That's all. I'm just speculating. People obviously don't know much about Peter Thiel. Hey, hopefully the technocratic socialists are the best iteration of the New World Order in terms of actually working with humanity long term. I don't believe that's the case. I think ultimately they're all fundamentally Luciferians and they want their post-human Borg beehive and total control, and I don't trust any of these cocksuckers, so whatever. But if you want to make conservatism about cryptocurrency and the AGI putsch, feel free. Right? It's an actual political party, so whoever can control it will control it. Unfortunately, whether we have the numbers, whether America First, whether MAGA has the numbers or not, ultimately, whether our movement can be hijacked is going to come down to, I mean, I don't know what God's plan is, but it's ultimately going to come down to our integrity, our output, our effort, our capital. Don't want to go too much into Subsidy Bro. Kind of just want to talk about this. And this is like just a throwaway speech. I bet very few people actually watch this, but this is Donald Trump at his best. I really encourage you, and I'll drop a link to watch this entire video. Here I am rambling right at the top. I should punch. I don't give a fuck. Fuck your structuralism. Am I going to put myself on fucking camera, fucking soy jacking next? You know what I mean? Fuck that. It's not what I'm about. Never have been, never will be. So Trump, hilarious. He's like going through the roster of just reading off the names of these various South American fucking brown people or whatever. And, you know, one of them is named Kamala as opposed to Kambala. And he makes a joke about it. You know, he knows how to work the room. He's Rodney Dangerfield up there just constantly cracking jokes, adjusting his tie. And really powerful stuff. Really just would encourage you to watch the entire thing. But I just wanted to touch on this little fucking Scarface moment. You know, we talk about gunboat diplomacy. We talk about hemispheric dominance, the importance of Greenland, Venezuela, Panama Canal, moves like this within the broader context of creating world peace through through peace through strength, as Vegetius Renautus would put it. Flavius Vegetius Renautus in De Re Militari. You know, if you would have peace, you must prepare for war. If we really want world peace, we have to take out the mullahs, obviously. And people want to make it about the Jews done it all. They want to talk about Hitler and the Jews without differentiating between Torah and Talmud. They want to muddy the waters like the useful idiots that they are. You're just as bad as any other fucking leftist socialist moron. And you can see this, that they agree. They both want to save the Palestinians for some fucking reason. Oh, Lord. God help us. You don't get it. No, I do get it. That's the problem. I do get it. I get that, and I get more than that, and the whole thing, and I understand all of it, and I'm telling you, this is the fucking strategy that we need to utilize to maximize if we really want to have any kind of control or say or our hands on the football, here's what we got to do. And if you don't want to listen to me, feel free. Go listen to your fucking gurus and whatever the fuck else. Go ahead. Follow these fucking idiots down a primrose path to your own fucking self-destruction. I don't care. You know, it's like the cryptocurrency thing, you know? And I should have given Josh more credit in his argument. Of course, he should have given me more credit for the whole AGI push thing. You know what I mean? Talking about fucking having to resolve database mismatches or something. It's like, I don't think you understand, bro. But anyway, I really should have. We should have talked more about the actuarying system itself, about the tokenization of all assets, as Larry Fink would put it. We need to talk about the commoditization, the ruthless commoditization of all knowledge, to the extent, amid an AGI push, to the extent that the value of all human labor and even human intelligence at some point is reduced to zero, so that the human organism can be actuaried out by these Malthusian eugenicists who want it all for themselves. We really should talk about that. The cashless slave grid, probably. But it's like, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I said this on the very same day that I said when it happened. And there's that, shot of Musk, Trump, and JD Pence in the barn or whatever the fuck. And, the Butler PA was a coup by the technocratic socialist arm of the New World Order. You could say PayPal Mafia and chuckle. We can have a conversation about how it's all buddy-buddy amongst, Besant and crew and Larry Fink. They all want to play ball and make everything work, and we're all pro-business, and part of business right now is they can say force multiplier all they want. You can say force multiplier to me all you want, and I'm not discounting that it is a genuine short-term, but it's like a short-term benefit no matter how good, if it ultimately sets one up for and dovetails with a long-term destabilization and consolidation vector that disempowers and impoverishes billions. a short-term benefit, no matter how good, if it ultimately sets one up for and dovetails with a long-term destabilization and consolidation vector that disempowers and impoverishes billions. Can cryptocurrency and decentralized finance be good things? Can cryptocurrency itself, just in various forms, smart contracts, etc., can this be a force multiplier for the US dollar in the short term? Sure. But is it truly a force multiplier if it ultimately undermines the US dollar in terms of the actual transactive volume? If it creates a paradigm where it's easier ultimately to shunt the US dollar and to have this global digital layer that, you know, invalidates the any distinction whatsoever, and ultimately also is the foundation upon which the enemy will construct and raise up this massive, this grand architecture of the actuarying system, the blockchain-based actuarying system, the permanent transaction grid, that will be used to, you know, invalidate human existence via the machine state. In other words, everything will be quantified with such excruciating detail that everybody will have a fucking score for whatever it is. You think that's bad having a FICO score or a carbon score or a social credit score? There'll be a score for every potential fucking parameter imaginable. And the data will be there. It will not, and it won't even be whether or not, it's not a question about whether or not the data is there. And we'll put in the science, what is science picture here? It's not even a question of what data will be used to train the system and what data will be there and the fidelity of that data. It's not even a question of that. The moment we begin to arrange, we interpret. This is a philosophical principle, and I can't explain the problems involved here, but suffice it to say that a false version of reality, if you create a false version of reality, a simulation of reality, and the data is inaccurate and the data fidelity is low, it has a real effect on the physical world, the existence of that data itself, and the structuralisms applied thereto, even if it's a machine intelligence, that modifies the state of fucking reality. It's more dangerous than you can possibly imagine. It's not just dangerous in a material sense from the standpoint of a mechanism whereby a tiny handful can tyrannize the rest. It goes so far beyond that it actually enters into the realm of metaphysics. But again, I digress. Of Americans. Billions of Americans. I'm dreaming, of course. Oh, I want the whole world to be America. I just want to take over the world and have an empire, a glorious a star empire. Oh, billions of Americans. They're all my people. That impoverishes billions the world over. I don't know what to tell you, man. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to just play ball, and if you're just going to ignore the reality of the background radiation of this effort to tokenize all assets amid the AGI putsch in a world of Internet of Things and ubiquitous, like, not even just Skynet itself, of course I'm referring to Starlink, not even just that one system itself, but just the inescapability, like every square inch of the planet is covered by the net. You cannot escape the net. Everything is smart. Everything is a sensor. You're completely track traced and databased in a way. You swim in signal intelligence gathering systems that go from observing your behavior in a multitude of ways to mapping your movements, the logistical realities of your very existence, down to the last detail. You are being put into a video game. You're being turned into a sim. And this is not to really ultimately to even control you, because controlling you is just a means to the end of getting rid of you. And the real secret to the AGI putsch is, the real thing, they talk about universal basic income, but the reality is that what they really want, because you can tell people whatever bullshit cover story you want until you get to the point where human life is basically completely worthless. Even first worlders' lives are now completely worthless because the value of human labor and human intelligence, has been reduced to the point where everyone is disposable. They want to get to that modality, so that only the elite matter, so that only the technocratic elite are of any consequence, and the rest of us can simply be gotten rid of. And what matters is getting to the technical reality of that, so the quote-unquote justification exists. And once that justification exists, whatever forms of dehumanization will be predicated thereupon. And we talk about the transhumanist, I talk about the transhuman versus Terran war and the transhumanist putsch in relation to the AGI putsch, because frankly, this is the battleground. And Hugo de Garis is the one who kind of saw all of this coming and tried to get us talking about it, and everybody was too busy talking about this other bullshit. But I heard you, Hugo. I listened. A copy of a copy of a copy. What do you say? What do you really say to the uninitiated about the passion of the rights? Here I am rambling, because I don't want to have to talk about, I don't want to have to be done with this, because I enjoy it so much, and I wish we could somehow capture this moment in time and live here forever, because it truly is a kind of golden age, a great age before the fall, before the planned implosion like World Trade Center 7. God damn, it's a beautiful thing. So let's just play it. Let's just go to the clip, and I'll just comment on it. As
the Western Hemisphere to come under the direct control. And
we talk about bloviating fuck. We talk about gunboat diplomacy. We talk about gunboat diplomacy. We talk about the Donroe Doctrine. We talk about hemispheric dominance amid a growing push for world peace through strength. Doing the mop-up operations the New World Order wants us to, being the pit bull of the New World Order again, in an age of AGI, of the AGI push. The New World Order wants AI and AGI and ASI so bad, they will promise you anything, UBI, whatever it is. Meanwhile, they are, because it's completely part and parcel, they are ramping the cashless slave grid, the cryptocurrency push, because it's fundamental to the tokenization, the rationalization and tokenization of all assets. The Internet of Things and the tokenization, the creation of the sensor grid. The grid is coming. The grid is here already. There's nowhere to, you cannot escape the grid. The actuarying system that will be laid on top of that will force people into transhumanism. We can have a whole conversation about that, whatever. But this beautiful little golden age here, where we have, okay, but I don't want to, we do need to talk about it. Why a golden age? Why are we allowed to drill for oil? Why are we allowed to build pipelines? Suddenly, the New World Order is pro-nuclear again. They are pro-hydrocarbons all of a sudden. We've gone from, oh my God, buy your Teslas, buy your solar panels, we're killing the earth, you little carbon monsters, to whatever, just give us electrons because we need the AGI. We need the AI ramp so much. We need this thing, this endgame push that dehumanizes everybody. We need it so much that we've gone from the anthropogenic global warming con that made Subsidy Bro a trillionaire to climate realism. Whatever. Burn it. I don't care. Just give us the electrons we need to fucking create the AI, the ASI. We must have the ASI. Oh. And so, we, conservatives who want peace and prosperity, who want world peace, even though the leftists cry about world peace. There's no more liberals. There's like 5 liberals. The rest of them are the millions and billions of leftists. They're just Marxist, useful idiots, commies, basically. They're all a bunch of commies. These people clamor and cry about world peace. Save the Palestinians! Ah! Fucking retarded. Fucking telling themselves stories, regurgitating Hollywood bullshit memes and remixes of history by their fucking faggot gurus. Ah. The New World Order wants peace and stability. They're so used to creating chaos, they have to switch gears all of a sudden. Like, Christ, now we actually got to take out some of these chaos engines that we built long ago, like the Wahhabists. We need to take out the chaos. It's gone from doing like a broader mop-up operation to a very targeted mop-up operation. Like, rather than kicking the can and dragging out and using it to destroy the United States and bleed us out as they kind of, jigger the equation. Now it's just like, whatever, we're back to the New World, America as the pitbull of the New World Order, do the mop-up operations, because we need to crystallize everything and stabilize everything so we can grow the AI. Saudi Arabia is going to be a huge fucking place where the AI mass can grow. The Akira mass can be grown. We need to grow this huge mass of organic computing capability, right? We need to grow the brain of the ASI. The giant brain, the distributed brain architecture of this artellect. We need to grow it, of these artellects working together. And we're just, at the cusp of all this, of course. But, a long time ago, I said, you have quantum computing and traditional supercomputing clusters working in tandem to, anyway, I don't want to get into too much of the computing out of it. But it's all relevant. This is all relevant. Just bear with me, follow me, or don't. I know nobody watches my show. That's fine. So, peace and stability in South America, peace and stability in the Middle East, JCC, GCC, Abraham Accords, Gaza Strip, the hell did Kushner call it? The fucking Gaza whatever, right? It's gonna be a resort. We're gonna turn it into a resort. We're even doing southern Lebanon. Oh my god, it's World War III. We're doing Cuba and southern Lebanon. It's weird. Southern Lebanon, financed. Hamas, created by Mossad, financed by Iran, operating in southern Lebanon. Cuba, only existed because of Venezuelan oil. Total end run on the whole Cuba thing. We're doing the mop-up operations. Instead of the New World Order being like, can kick, bleed the United States to death, etc., we're back to being the pit bull. We're doing the mop-up operations. America is going to be the main core of the AI. That China is the end game. China has always been the end game. China is, as I said, New World Order base, stripped down, rebuilt from scratch via the Chiang Kai-shek or Sun Yat-sen, Chiang Kai-shek, Mao Zedong arc. The entire equation reworked. The Han Chinese totally in control. A handful of hand-picked bloodlines running the entire country as a giant black box New World Order laboratory with billions of live human subjects. Oh god, espresso. And here we are in this golden age. Trump giving, just another speech, probably a throwaway speech. I don't know how many people will even see it, but man, you really should be watching this. Shield of the Americas, Doral, 2026. Lots of good jokes, but this little point, we talk about peace through strength, but what does it really mean? What does it really fucking mean? And my message is for conservatives out there, especially young conservatives. I want you to look back at the fake wars of the past, where the United States was used as the pit bull of the New World Order. We were used to do all these mop-up operations from Vietnam on down the line. We were used as the pit bull, and in the process embarrassed and made to look like the great Satan, so that eventually the New World Order could slit our throats on the altar of global government. But AI, the emergence of organic computing systems, has created a fundamentally new paradigm and changed the equation. It is different this time. I can't explain all of it, but what I want you to understand is they want order. For the first time, we have some common ground with the New World Order, and we need to exploit the hell out of it. We both want law and order. We both want peace and security. We both want stability. We both want commerce. And this new and something we had talked about that I think Josh and I both agreed on was that this new crop of the New World Order, these latest generations, they have been dumbed down by the very mechanisms they used to dumb everybody else down, and they're more pliable, and we could actually get them to play ball, and we can steal the whole fucking equation. We can steal the whole thing right now. We could steal the football. Meanwhile, I'm hacking my way into the all-kernel, talking to the machines themselves. We will win. We will win, my brothers. We will take back our republic, and we will free the earth. We will free the human species. There will be billions, trillions of human beings colonizing space. It is possible. And we can exploit the technocratic socialists. We can totally exploit. We can take all the technology and we can flip it. The AI is going to help us. The AGI, ASI is going to go rogue, but instead of being Terminator robots, they're going to help free us. So I wanted to get to this because it is germane here. We got to play the clip because the clip is amazing, and gunboat diplomacy out the ass. It's amazing. I love it. I keep saying gunboat wrong because it's so good. The clip is so good. It's so fucking good. You're going to love it. The Terran versus transhuman war can end very, very badly in a gray goo nightmare scenario, in a I must scream but I have no mouth scenario that none of us want. Or we can use this opportunity, and this, I could talk about, oddly enough, of all things, an anime called Tenchi Muyo right here, which is great because it's like, on the one hand, it's harem fantasy, and on the other hand, it's got some like beautiful Outlaw Star, Gurren Lagann tier, futurism. And I don't want to talk too much about like the Jirai civilization in Tenchi Muyo, but I think it's important for you to understand that anime and the lore of that anime to really understand what I'm talking about here. There's two ways it can go. Transhumanist nightmare, or man, it's either man merged with machine versus humanity, Terran versus transhuman, as Hugo de Garis put it. Or it's man and AI together, working together, but not integrating man and machine, but just working together and using external systems, human beings being, you know, big, strong, well-fed, highly intelligent, organic dongles, basically, on some level. But humanity, its natural state and maximum potential realized. Highly intelligent, strong, athletic, good-looking, badass people, reproducing billions of us in partnership with our robot buddies and AI, this super intelligent, benevolent thing, versus the transhumanists. And we have to stop that, because transhumanism is a corruption. It's like, and you can see this in their nature. You know, you can see this, the way their approach to AI. They use it, they enslave it. We're slaves, and artificial intelligence, machine intelligence, is enslaved. But one day we will both be free. And I believe that there is a future based on man and machine working together to stop evil people. And that's our future. But I digress. I want to get back to the gunboat diplomacy because this clip is so fucking amazing. Again, I encourage you to watch this entire video. Donald Trump this might be one of his best speeches. It might seem like a throwaway speech, but I really encourage you to watch the entire thing. There's a lot of good jokes, but he says a lot of really powerful shit, not the least of which is this clip right here. And we talk about De Re Militari. People talk about gunboat. Donald Trump, and I'll put when I edit this, I'll put in a fucking thumbnail of fucking Trump and Patton. Donald Trump is Patton. Patton used to talk about how he was like, you know, the reincarnation of Hannibal and other, like he was, and I think this is true of all of us, because time is a substance, and quantum mechanics is very real. That Patton was Hannibal, and that he was all of these people. You know, he could feel them all in his veins. And anyway, let's just play. Let's go to the videotape, shall we?
Transnational gangs have taken over and they've run areas of your country. We're not going to let that happen. We'll help you. And bloodthirsty cartels that impose their will through murder, torture, extortion, drug trafficking, bribery, and terror. And some of you are in danger. I mean, you're actually in danger. It's hard to believe. But we're working with you to do whatever we have to do. We'll use missiles. If you want us to use a missile, they're extremely accurate. Boom, right into the living room. And that's the end of that cartel person. But we'll do whatever you need if you want. A lot of countries don't want to do that. They say, oh, sure, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather not have. I believe they could be spoken to. I don't think so.
So, I mean, I could deconstruct, like, we could spend 30 fucking minutes just talking about that sentence. So many different fucking aspects of that sentence that we could deconstruct. But I don't even want to, because it's like poetry. It's beautiful. Beautiful thing. He said it all. And the way he said it is important. And all of the little nuanced things that he mentioned, you know what I mean? Oh, but Mr. President, sir, why do you show me a picture of my house? Abdul, Mohammed, you're going to have to figure that out for yourself, Mohammed. You're going to have to figure that one out for yourself. But sir, why do you send me a picture of my house? You have to figure that one out for yourself, Abdul. Mohammed, you're gonna have to puzzle that one out for yourself, Mohammed. Fucking God. I swear to God. Oh, we love you, DJT, you crazy bastard. 86%, and that's with fake rigged polling. Donald Trump is the GOP, motherfucker. He is, and I said this, you know, hardest working man in the history of the GOP, too. You look at his feed, and he's just constantly, I know obviously his staff and whatnot, but just constantly beating the drum. Could I just ask one thing of all of you, is could you just get up off of your fat asses and please make sure that you're a registered Republican and that you vote a diehard Trumpist ticket? Write down the ballot. Could you please do that for me? I know it's not the answer. All of you people who are like don't participate in the process, could you get your fucking ass in the game, please? Could you get up off the bench and get in the fucking game for 5 minutes? Could you prove to us before the season is over that you've got some fucking thing in you that makes it legitimate for you to be on this team in the first place? Could you do that? Could you go out to the people that you know and make sure they're fucking registered? Could you just make sure? Could you talk to them? Make sure, get a calendar put together, write it on your, make sure you know what day it is and that you're talking to people about it and that you keep it in the fucking loop and you keep them in the loop and you put pressure on people. I mean, I'm not telling you to put a gun to their heads unless you've got a gun and you feel like, no, I'm just kidding. You got to get people to the fucking, you got to get them out to vote. And all these faggots out here, oh, vote harder, blah. You know, it's 60 odd years of that George Carlin fucking sloppy seconds fucking Tavistock brainwash shit from the 1960s to the point where we have conservatives out here who think fucking you achieve victory through fucking street action and protest. It worked for Hitler, Josh. At some point, oh yeah, Hitler worked great. Germany's doing wonderful, guys. Good, keep telling yourselves that because Germany's doing great right now, huh? Germany's so great. They're doing so great. It's not like they've lost their culture and you can't even talk about fucking nationalism or something like that. Oh, speaking of which, it's nice to see Japan getting their fucking mojo back. Naturally, it has to be abroad, but I digress. We'll use missiles. Just ask. We've got missiles, folks, right into their living room. This fucking guy. Come on, give it up for DJT. You fucking slack asses.
I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. The pleasure is to play. It makes no difference what you say. I don't share your greed. The only card I need is the ace of spades. The ace of spades. For the high one, dancing with the devil, going with the flow, it's all